But my my question is, have you how does it feel now? Are you getting used to it?
I think I am. I don't know if you saw my post the other day, but I was like, I tagged you in it too. So I don't know why.
Yes, I saw it. But I just wanted to say it say it here.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw it. I just wanted to bring it up again.
Okay.
But you said you was getting comfortable.
Yes, I'm really not a public speaking kind of person, which is kind of weird because I did orientation for like a year and I had to sometimes get up in front of them
Right.
and do the slides if that department head didn't show up.
Oh, okay.
So, and I would play games with them and stuff like that because it was boring.
Right. And I talk all the time in front of 50 kids, but I think that the difference is that, I don't know, just hearing myself. When I'm talking to the kids, I don't really get to hear myself. I know that it's going to be broadcast and can travel to other places. But, okay, you ready?
We getting a good following too.
Okay.
And you saw what I told you about on TikTok. I keep forgetting because like some of my views just when I just be posting random videos, they get to like 800.
Okay.
So you don't even know out of that group how many people will go to the YouTube because I always post a link. So you don't know how many people's gonna go watch. The video, especially if I post a good clip like those clips that was posted. I went to TikTok and posted those.
Okay, so those clips are working out better? Okay. Yeah, just getting the people to like and subscribe, that's the biggest thing. Alright, let's get ready.
It's recording already?
It is.
Oh.
I told you that.
What's up, everybody? I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Joseph, and we welcome you to The Perspective.
Okay, so last week we talked about self-care. So did you do anything different this week to promote your self-care?
I think the only thing I did different this week is I didn't stay at work as long as I normally would.
Okay.
So I did leave work a little bit earlier. And then I also gave my teachers some time for self-care. So I gave both of my preschools, time off on Friday to go home and do some self-care.
So you closed up early? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they got off at 12 and they was able to go and, relax, do things they would normally not be able to do because they're either working too late or whatever the case may be. So I did make sure they had that time.
Okay, that was good.
Yeah. And that kind of helped me because then I didn't have nobody calling me.
Right.
So that was a good thing too. What about you? Did you practice anything?
Yes, I did. I did do some journaling this week.
Okay.
And I also listened to, like in May, I went to a live recording. And the album came out this past week, I think.
Okay.
So it's a very empowering album. It talks about well, I don't really want to get into it, but it was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Instrumental for me this week. And it's some very great songs on there. It's love songs too. But there's just one song on there that really helped me see where I need to be. And with that song, I was like, it's some people I need to let go. Because it's a song on there called Chasing Ghosts. And I was like, I need to let some people go. So I let some people go.
Okay.
I had to let them understand that, hey, like my worth is way more than this. Like you're giving like these vibes that I don't like. And I'm so much more than that. So I just need to let you go.
Okay. Okay. And when does the album come out?
It's already out.
It's already out. Okay. So maybe we can have a little preview or something added in here so that people can hear it. And encourage others to go listen to it too, especially the Chasing Ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
I like to hear that, so send me the information too.
Okay.
Have you did any check-in with the family? You talked to anybody in the family?
I took one of our cousins to the doctor on Friday.
They're pregnant?
No. She gonna get you.
Oh, it's that cousin. Okay. I thought you was pregnant, cuz. Gonna have you a big reveal on here and everything. I'm sorry. Because okay, this is why I asked that, because most times when you hear somebody's taking a cousin to the doctor, there's only two things that come to mind: either they pregnant, they scared to be there by themselves to find out that they pregnant because they already know they've been having sex unprotected, or it could be that somebody is sick and they need help. But in this situation, it's neither. I understand. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, but we talked. I shared some things with her. Okay. She shared some things with me.
How's she doing?
She's doing great.
Okay.
What about you?
Okay. I talked to two cousins this week. I talked to, I was with one today, and we did some scholarship stuff for his scholarship that he has.
Okay.
And then I talked to one earlier, just to check in and see what was going on with her and the cousins. And that's about it. I talked to my aunt today, one of our biggest supporters that's always liking and sharing and commenting. So we appreciate you, Aunt Ann. I talked to her today. Lord, she just told me, oh no, I talked to another cousin that was at the other cousin's house today, so I saw that cousin.
Okay.
But yeah. And then yesterday, we had a gender reveal for my cousin on my mom's side, so she's having a girl, so we had a gender reveal for her yesterday, so I saw a lot of those family members yesterday. But that's about it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Okay, so what you want to talk about today?
Let's see where we want to go to today. Let's get into toxic love. What is toxic love? Toxic love.
So I looked it up.
Okay.
Even though I know what it is, but I wanted to see what Google's saying about toxic. Right. So Google said toxic equals poison. So as someone, not you, but I'm just talking to the people, as someone who's in a relationship, do you see your relationship now as poison? So what you say about just that little tidbit right there?
So toxic love equals poison.
Well, just the word toxic. I just wanted to,
when you think of when I think of toxic, I think of something that's like unwanted or bad for you. I think of poison. I think of just something that can just make you not be yourself. Just that when I think of toxic, bad, just something bad. What about you? Now that you, before you looked at Google, what did you think toxic means?
Before I looked at Google, I thought it was, just abuse. That's the first thing that came to my mind, is that this person's being mentally abused, even physically abused, emotionally abused. And I even had to examine, myself to see if I was giving off, that toxic behavior.
So I guess the people, what we want to know is, what do you consider toxic to be? And so when it comes to a relationship, what is toxic love to you?
Somebody who's gaslighting. I think that's a big issue, because sometimes you don't even know that you're being, gaslighted. That's the way I should say it. Gaslighted. And then you're in a predicament where you have to question, like, is this person serious?
Right.
Like, if I say, like, hey, I'm gonna go, I don't know, it could just be anything. I'm gonna go downstairs and watch TV by myself, and then now the person is like, well, what you going down there for? Why you got to go down there and watch TV? Why you can't just stay in the room and watch TV with me? Who you gonna be talking to while you down there watching TV? Like, who's on your phone? Like, all of that.
So you consider that to be toxic?
I do.
Okay, because I do that all the time. So I didn't know that was toxic. Maybe I'm toxic, but I do that all the time.
Because that's jealousy, and then jealousy is kind of like probably like kind of the start of it.
Mm-hmm. So we'll be okay. Wait a minute. Let me make sure because I don't want to be a toxic person. So you saying the person wanted to go downstairs, and you're like, no, what you going downstairs? Okay, so. You say no, what you going downstairs for? Who you gonna be talking to? That's toxic. But what if I just don't want you to go downstairs?
Well, isn't all in? It's the delivery.
The delivery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's all in the delivery. Like if you're being like, "Why are you going down there? Don't leave me."
Right.
Something like that. Versus, "Why are you going downstairs?" Like,
right. So being aggressive.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So toxic can come in the form of your body language and your tone also, not just hitting someone.
Right.
So what is it, do you think, and when I look at toxic, I think about everybody's toxic is different. Because I always think about what we consider for someone toxic, they may not think it's toxic. They may think that it's okay, this is life. This is I'm used to this, so this is my norm. Right. For example, if you got a couple that's always fussing and fighting, well, not even fighting. Let's say they fuss a lot. Us looking at this couple, we're gonna say, "Ooh, that's toxic," because all we see y'all do is fuss. But we don't know sometimes there are good moments. Or let's say they split, then health starts to fail or death comes. Because you know what I'm saying? Like that's their norm. So would that still be considered toxic because it's their norm?
It can still be toxic if it's normal for them, because even if somebody is in like a physically abused relationship, they may see that as being normal, but we look at it as like, ma'am, sir, you're being physically abused, even mentally abused. They could consider that as normal, and we're on the outside looking in and saying you're being abused. That's why it's so hard for people that are abused to come out of it, because they're so used to it. So to answer your question, even if it's their norm, it's still toxic.
So how do you handle someone that's in a toxic relationship? Okay, let's put ourselves in a situation. We maybe got some family members out there that's in toxic relationship. That ain't our business. But what happens when it does start to affect? Do we help them? Do we say something? Because nowadays with people, you can't say too much because they mad at us. Right. Or they break up for a while, then the next thing they know they back together, then they mad at us for helping them. It can become sticky. So do you help people in those type of situations, or do you just pray for them?
You kind of have to feel them out. What we could probably do is like just have a group discussion, not about that person.
Just in general.
Just have like a little function or a gathering, a kickback, something like that. Right. And have no agenda, but kind of check in with each person and fill that person out that's in that toxic relationship and see if they are forthcoming with their information. If they are, you can always pull that person aside and say, "Hey, you remember the last time you was over here with your boo or whatever?" Like, and just kind of talk to them like that, and not just like, talk down to them, but just talk, have a conversation. Right. And I believe that doing it that way, just a one-on-one, like how we see on, those reality shows, when they say, don't do it in front of the group, like pull the person to the side and just talk. And I feel like doing that with a family member will probably be better, because that way they won't feel embarrassed. Because a lot of times they may feel embarrassed. They may not want to discuss, their relationship in front of everybody. Right.
So if you was in a toxic relationship, how would you want us to tell you?
Just tell me.
In a group setting, or
I don't care. Just tell me. I would want all of y'all to help me. because I'm divorced and I don't, when I get into my next relationship, I want it to go to marriage and I don't want to get divorced again.
Mhm.
So if y'all see something in the beginning during the dating stages, tell me.
Mhm.
I don't care what it is.
Right.
I don't care if you out and about and you see that man and he all hugged up on a woman. You better call me, FaceTime me right then and there and tell me what's going on.
Have the receipt.
Yes. I mean, I don't really need the receipt, but you could just tell me what's going on. But if you would like to FaceTime me to show me, that's fine.
Right. I feel like you need to have the receipt because one thing is hard to do is hard to compete with what they call pillow talk.
Right.
So now let's say give me a scenario. Let's say, what did you just say? If we see him where?
Just out and about.
Okay, so let's say we saw somebody out and about.
Mm-hmm.
Then we call and tell you, but then when he get home and talk to you about it, he done like did a whole 360 of how it was. Like this is coworker, they out for. I mean, it's just a whole 360.
Mm-hmm.
But we know it's more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't compete.
Okay, yeah. So the receipt. So in that case, the receipt would be great.
Right.
But what was the original question? Would you want me?
Would you want someone to tell you?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah, I think I don't know if I want to know or not.
Why not?
I don't know.
If you're in like a toxic mess,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't want one of us to tell you that.
I guess my biggest thing is how I'm being told. Like, don't be trying to come and like shame me or be done call all 50 limb of the family members and had a conversation about it. Like, if you know something, I would rather you just come straight to. It's almost like I don't want to be embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be the biggest thing. Like, you don't want to embarrass someone. So that's why I asked you, would you want it in a group scene? Would you want it individual? Because I feel like some people will make it embarrassing. And I don't think they might mean to,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just, we know how some people are. They want
Yeah.
to take it around the world before we get it.
I think that if we're in a group setting with just cousins,
Mm.
yes, just tell me then. But if we got aunts and uncles included, pull me to the side.
And again, this can be something, because to me, I feel like if you got to be careful when they put stuff out there in front of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, like I said earlier, you can make up with this person and be fine with this person. Then the family and everybody else is still mad.
Mm-hmm.
When y'all come around, you wonder why the cold shoulder or why we not speaking to this person or, just being nonchalant. And that's why. So that's why I said, if somebody do see something, I'd rather you just talk to me about it. Don't go around telling everyone. I feel like I'm the only one that can determine if it's toxic.
Right.
Because it's me.
But what if you're comfortable with what's going on?
But it's me. You get what I'm saying? Like, I gotta know when toxic, like when I think of toxic, I think of levels.
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all toxic may be on a 4 or 2. My toxic may be higher. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it may not be toxic to me. This may be my norm. This may be what I grew up seeing in my mom or daddy.
Mm-hmm.
So I may be used to it. No, I'm not saying me. I'm saying in general. But I may be used to it.
Right.
So that's why I feel like you have to have that one-on-one conversation. Because again, in a group setting, somebody gonna express themselves. Somebody gonna be mad and not happy, and it ain't even, unless it's serious. Now, if this person beating me and stuff like that, then yeah, let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But because like you said, toxic comes in different form,
Mm-hmm.
different fashion.
Mm-hmm.
It may be verbally, but y'all may see the verbal part out, but at home I may be the one cussing them out.
That's true.
But now if I start to become little, and then I was once 200 pounds, now I'm 100 pounds.
We got some questions.
We got some questions. So it's almost like you got to do an examination of the full thing, because that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
If the weight start to loss, or they start to gain too much weight, or jobs. I mean, the chilling looking pole. I mean, it's just a lot of that can be an effect, and then that's when you may need to say, okay, we need to have a conversation.
Okay.
To me, I think you have to look at everything, the whole picture.
Right.
Has my demeanor changed? Has my appearance changed? Has my attitude changed?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would look at.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Let
trying
me-
to see who I.
I'm gonna ask you this.
Okay. Oh.
Now is only no.
I thought-
Now is only can toxic behavior only be in like relationships? Can it be with mother daughter, mother son, father daughter, cousin, aunt? Can it be in those type of relationships too?
So we're gonna go to work next. So remember work.
Okay.
But sad to say, I do think because let's look at, for example, Zatima.
Okay.
So you had what the man name is? You know my Zatima?
I do, but I'm trying to figure out what man you talking about.
This Zach.
Oh, okay.
So you have Zach that was having issues with his mom,
Right. Okay.
and that looks toxic.
Yeah.
That looks toxic, but not only was it him and his mom toxic, it was the brother
Yeah.
and the mom toxic. Then the brother and Zach is toxic. So yes, it can occur because those dynamics do happen in real life.
Yeah.
You do have the siblings that endorse their mom with the drugs. They give them the money, they feed them, they're doing
Yeah.
it with them. That's toxic to us. Again,
That's normal for them.
that's normal for them because they're bonding. That's how I stay in my mom's good graces, or that's how I get to have a relationship with my mom because I give her money for this. Again, that goes back to what I say. Our toxic level may be different from somebody else's toxic level. But look at Zach. Zach felt like that was toxic.
He didn't want to be involved.
He didn't want to be involved in that. So yes, you can have that toxic level, and sometimes people don't realize that for their situation in a family, that toxic can break a family up. It can mess you up if you let it take you too far. I do think that. So yeah, it can occur.
So what's taking it too far?
When you're, let's say you have a situation when you look at a mother or father that's always, what is it called, like, or aunt or uncle that's always doing stuff or nitpicking, or don't like that their child is gay, or they don't like their child because they married a certain person. Those are toxic things. And then the verbal abuse that they may get, I feel like that's toxic. And then again, if you continue to worship, continue to say those things or make people feel a certain type of way, you're gonna not have that relationship anymore. So I do think that makes that.
If there was a certain type of issue that occurred in a childhood and the mother or father knows about the issue and the child grows up to be an adult, and the adult child wants to now bring up the situation to let that go, and the mother or father don't want to hear it. They just want to go through life as if nothing ever happened, and now we have this animosity with the relationship because we can't get past whatever happened. Is that can that develop a toxic relationship or some type of behavior?
I think that hold on, y'all. Pause. It's the first time we've ever did this. Had a pause. Hello.
No.
I said hello. Oh, I'm talking to Casey. Oh. All right. Okay, so sorry, y'all. That was an important call. What was the question?
About the mother, something happening in
Oh yeah. So if you let's say for example, you like you said you grew up and now you want to talk about it, but and then the mom and dad don't want to talk about it. I feel like for yourself you got to talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, you're going to have toxic inside of you, and you're not going to let that go. So if it's, say for example, you was molested and mom and dad want to cover it up, It was uncle that molested you,
Mm-hmm.
and mom and dad or whoever knows want to cover it up, and you can't move on with your life because it's still holding you.
Mm-hmm.
You are being no good to your women or men you're messing with. You can't keep a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You never want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
That can affect you if you don't talk about it.
Right.
And not everybody wants to talk about it. And maybe it goes back to the self-care thing. You may need to write it out and just get it out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you hold that in, that's that toxic inside of you.
Right.
That's going to make you do things that you should be doing, whether it's being abusive to other people that are probably good for you,
Mm-hmm.
or you being mentally, physically, in your mind, you're not going to be stable, because anybody that go through something like that is rough. But I guess it's just how you deal with it. But I feel like you need to get that out. You need to have that conversation. If your parents don't want to have that conversation, then find someone who will listen. And know you may not want the world to know, but at least find that one person you can confide in to get that out of you. Because if not, that toxic gonna keep going.
I agree.
And then you're gonna eventually think then some people may think that because it happened to them, it's okay to do it to someone else.
That's true.
That's another form of toxic.
Mm-hmm. Because you're carrying that
Right.
seed
Right.
over and over
Yeah.
into the next person, and that seed is planted into somebody else,
Mhm.
and then that person will take that same seed and plant it into somebody else. Now we have this whole train of toxic behavior, all because that one person didn't just want to deal with whatever happened in their past.
Mhm.
That's why it's very important for people to deal with situations. It may be hard,
Mhm.
but it's very important to deal with situations, because just harboring that can create, toxicity, however you say it.
Right. I said that earlier, and I don't know if that's a word, but I just made it up. So when y'all read my new book and that word is in there, we created it. But yeah, and that's an emotional part, but it's all revolved right around love.
Mhm.
Because the people you thought you supposed to love, and then you also have to look at it like this, Casey. When you go through life, you're at the age of you want to be in a relationship or whatever, or you're at the age where you're processing things. You already think that these people should know how to love, or they should know right from wrong, because they should have had somebody to teach them. So when you're going through the relationship and you're experiencing different things, you think that it's okay because that's what you think is right. And so when someone does come to you and say, no, something is wrong, you're not always going to be receptive to that, because, again, you thought this was right. It's either what I saw, or I assumed this is the man I love and I assumed that he knew better.
Right.
Or this is the woman I love and I assumed she knew better.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, what was you saying about work?
Okay, so you know. So you do. I feel like I'm gonna say this, and you let me know if you agree
Okay.
or if you disagree or why. You have toxic people in your job.
Mm-hmm.
You have toxic people that are the people. They come in several forms, fashions, and shades. You have the toxic people. Number one, and you add to it. Number one, you have them people that are going to be your friends. They all up under you, talking, laughing, and they're the people that you go to for everything.
Mhm.
Child, this what happened to me, blah 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 blah. And then these are also the people that behind your back are wishing for your downfall.
Mm-hmm.
That's toxic, but that's somebody you love. So because you work with them,
Right.
you build that relationship. You think that they're good,
Mm-hmm.
but behind your back, they're talking or telling all your business, or trying to beat you to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
You also have those toxic people that sit quietly and just watch everything you do.
Hmm.
You gotta pay attention to you gotta look at your surroundings.
So are they not an observant person?
No, ain't no observant person. Because you have, okay, well, let me say this. You have some people that, let me say some, because there may be some observant people, but you have some people that sit back and watch you because either they're jealous of you,
Mm-hmm.
or they're watching to see what's next and see how can they take it.
Okay.
I've noticed people like that. I know people like that right now that are they just sit back and just watch.
Mm.
But are they watching because they're impressed, or are they watching because they want something that you have? What you think?
I agree. I'm trying to think. It was one particular job I was on, not the one I'm at now, but one particular job I was on, it was very toxic because you had people from, first of all, from all walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like you had the people who wanted to see you grow and wanted to see you do great things. And then you had those jealousy ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I experienced that
Mm-hmm.
personally. Because I was on a job where I got it because my mother worked there. And it was very.
That's what they said, or is that what really happened?
What?
You got the job because your mom worked there.
I mean, that's what really happened.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what it was saying. Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say I got it because of her. I would say that I had to apply myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to do an interview myself. So I got the job, but I just got.
That gave you some brownie points.
Right.
Okay.
So you had people there who thought that, well, she's only here because, her mother is here. So they would treat me a certain kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Because, my mother was there. We worked, two different departments. We wasn't in the same department. I didn't even see her unless I went. Unless I went to her. It's a ghost. I didn't even see her unless I went to her. Mm-hmm. So I would always think, like, why do they have to, treat me this way all because, she's here. She's not sitting next to me.
Right.
But, that jealousy, just like when I was, looking up toxic behavior, jealousy was listed under that. Mm-hmm. And, they would create an environment that I didn't even want to be there. Mm-hmm. I tried to get out of that situation so many times, looking for jobs on the job. I was looking for jobs because I didn't want to be in that type of environment. Right. Because it was just horrible. The jealousy was just pouring. It was raging. And it even got to a point where they even went to HR on me about something crazy, but it didn't stick, And then it was crazy because I ended up elevating, being promoted in that same environment, and it still felt toxic though because the head, starts from the top. They were creating all of that toxic behavior because one thing I've learned is if you are in a leadership position, it's okay to be friendly with your coworkers, but when you are like buddy with them, like that's not.
That's a different level. Yeah,
that's not good because now you can't reprimand this person. It's you even when you have to reprimand the person, it'll be hard because y'all hanging out and at work and after work and on the weekends and stuff like that. So when you come back to work, they can't respect you.
Right.
Because y'all have, crossed the line at this point. So that's one situation that I've experienced, that toxicity at work.
Okay. But yeah, toxic is everywhere. And what you don't want to happen is for it to get inside of you, and then you start to become toxic. And then people start to notice you as a toxic person. And I feel like sometimes when toxic people comes in your life, they get a hold of you. Like it's not as if it's like someone's like an aggravating gnat. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm for real. Like it's nothing like a gnat is hard to kill. Once it's in the house, it's in the house. Or like a rat. Once you get a rat in, it's hard to get a rat out. That's what I feel like with toxic people. Once you let them into you, it's hard for you to break it.
Yes.
Because I mean, we could sit here and say, like you said, come and tell me, let me know. But are you going to end the relationship that night once you find out? No, not necessarily, unless it's something drastic. But then again, who's to say?
Right.
Because again, if that person saw you seeing them, they already done practiced their story, and they coming back to run it back to you totally different. So, because that toxic is already into you, so they already know how to come home and what to say.
Yeah.
Just like the people at work, they're watching, they're studying, so they already know how to flip it and hide their hand because there's so many people. And in the beginning, you're not gonna know who it is, or they become so good at it, they're starting to get other people to form against you.
That's true.
And that's what happened with your situation. It started forming.
No, it was just a small group of people.
Okay.
But when you know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in Christ, and then just as a person,
Right.
you know, you don't let that stuff get to you. You don't let that stuff bother you. Because I even had one coworker, and I would tell her, I was like, you know, this girl went to HR on me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she really did that. And she was like, well, you know, it's not going to work.
Right.
It's not going to stick. And she said that one thing that you have to realize, that people create that behavior because they're jealous.
Or not happy.
Mm-hmm. They're not happy with themselves, so now they have to go and make somebody else unhappy.
Right.
And that's the same thing in just a relationship. If your spouse or your significant other is doing great at what they do, and now you're sitting back watching, observing, you know, you're sitting back looking at him or her, you know, do all these great things, and you see they're happy but you're unhappy, and you don't want them to be happy without you.
Right.
So now you got to go create some mess so they can be unhappy with you, and that's toxic too. That's toxic. When you see your significant other being happy, and they're trying to get you on board to where they're at, but you want to stay in the mud.
Stay in it.
And now, because you in the mud, you want your significant other in the mud with you. That's not the way it works.
But that's all they're used to. And that's why you have to learn your people. Make sure before you say I do, you know the people. Like Medea say, know them in 4 seasons. Don't just know them, you know, in 1 or 2. You got to know them all the way around, because people will change and show their true colors eventually.
Yes.
Just look at, I mean, this is a movie, but this is, you know, sometimes I think movies are...
They do tell the truth.
Right,
And have you
right.
looking at yourself like, let me go examine some things.
So, did you see The Past yet?
Yes.
Okay, so you saw how Drew Sidor was married. That ain't her name on the show, but in real life her name was Drew Sidor. She was married to this man for over 10 years and didn't even know he was a con artist. Had all, I mean, didn't even know. And there's people out there that I'm sure get scammed and don't even know it.
That's true.
So you just have to be really careful and make sure you really know the people that you are investing your time in. And that goes back to relationships, work, friends, sometimes family. You got to know who you're wasting your time on, well, not wasting, who you're investing your time with, because sometimes people don't mean you any good, or they only want something for that moment. They only want something because you have it, or they see you potentially going to have it, so then they start to tag onto you. Like that net I told y'all about earlier. That net, remember?
Just flying.
We just be flying, and they over there sitting, resting, watching everything. They back here just watching. Just watching. You squat at it, they gone. So let's play a game.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna play a game. So we're gonna play Is It Toxic or Not?
Or not.
Is it toxic or not? Is it toxic or not when? So, let's first one. It says, is it toxic or not when you drive past your boyfriend's house several times a day? Is that toxic or not? Several times a day. You don't stop, you don't get out.
You just driving by.
You just driving by. Is that toxic or not?
Yes, because first of all, why are you doing that? Well, why are you doing that?
They may want to see if you home or if you...
Well, call. Why you gotta drive?
Now they have this thing, they have this new thing called FaceTime. You can fake. Well, sometimes you can blur out the background
On
unless you.
FaceTime too?
Oh, you can't do that.
I don't know. I've never
I
tried
don't
that
know
on
either.
FaceTime.
But that's on Teams.
Yeah, and Zoom and stuff like that.
But okay, so you say that's toxic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you driving by just to see if they're at home, then if you could just call and see if they're at home. You driving by like every 20, 30 minutes.
Well, you might want to also see if there's anybody else there.
Okay.
That's another thing.
What?
But what happens if you live in an apartment complex? They can be. You don't know who cars who in the apartment complex. So
They can still drive by. Because if that person is doing that, they know exactly what your car look like.
And if I'm telling you, if they toxic enough, they know what all the neighbors' cars
exactly
look like.
They know they know where you usually park at.
Mm.
And then they know, like, if somebody comes to see you, they know they gonna park on this side of you or that side of you,
Right.
or right behind you. They ain't gonna be too far away from your building.
Right.
So they'll still drive by and say, "Oh, he ain't home yet. She ain't home yet,"
Right.
or drive by and say, who car that is?" And then still don't get out.
Still don't get out. But I bet they got that car in their brain.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 or 3 weeks later, they see that car again. They know something if they don't see it consistently. Like they got a schedule already.
Yes.
Because I'll be that person. Got a schedule already. Oh, if a car unfamiliar, I'm gonna remember that car.
So you like, what's her name? Angela from Why Did I Get Married?
Oh yeah.
3.4 miles to get here. And
Right.
then if your heart rate is such and such when you walk through the
Per
door.
minute. I know your heart rate. I already know how to do it. Okay.
Now see, that was a toxic relationship with
You
her
think
doing
so?
all that.
But
Yes.
But there goes back to the example that toxic works for them.
Mm.
Because they wasn't no good apart.
Mm-hmm.
She built him up. He built her. You get what I'm saying? Like they were compatible.
Mm-hmm.
They just had some issues.
That's true.
Now,
But doing all of that, what she was doing.
Yeah. Now she had some extra issues. But yeah. So what's your question? What you got?
Is it toxic? Okay, let's see. Is it toxic to always want to I don't want to step on my toes, but
Ooh.
is it toxic to
Let me
always
sweat.
want to go through your significant other's phone? And not just like, let me just grab your phone real quick and just, okay, I'm gonna make a call on your phone, then you make a call, but wait till they go to sleep.
Oh.
Wait till they went to the car real quick to grab something and you grab the phone real quick and go through it. Like, what you think?
In my younger days, I think I used to be that person. So I would have to say I used to be toxic because I felt like that's a waste of time and trust.
Mm-hmm.
That obviously means that there's something going on inside of you that you have not dealt with yet. If you have to wait till they go to sleep to go through their phone.
Mm-hmm.
And if y'all in a serious relationship, then it should be to where I can just ask you for your phone and you should be able to just give it to me.
Right.
But I'm the type of person that if you ask me for my phone, I'm gonna say what you want it for. I'm just that person. I mean, I just am. I can't help it.
I used to do that.
Go through the phone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But did you have a reason?
I had a reason.
Okay. So you've never done it just to be like, well, let me see what's going on.
Mm-mm. No, but I had when Ashley was here, she was talking about that gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I had that gut feeling.
So let me, okay, never mind. Maybe it's another conversation.
Yes.
So let's say, for example, if people was inboxing him and he, like they say, you handsome, you cute or whatever like that, he say thank you, is that okay? Would you be mad about stuff like that?
Let me get the old person out of my mind and just think about it.
Oh, just in general. Yeah, just in general. The new person.
Would I be, as long as it's like a thank you, and then you leave it at that.
So if it's a thank you and a smiley face, that's too much?
Why are you smiling? You don't even need to say thank you. You need to say thanks, and that's it. Just say thanks.
Or not even, or just So could we hard
Or like it. Or like it.
Like it, not hard.
No.
Okay. Okay. My question is it toxic if you have more than one cell phone?
It depends on why you have more. You may have a job phone.
Okay.
So it just depends. So if you don't have a job phone and you just got 2 phones because you need 2 phones, no.
That's toxic.
It's toxic because you don't need 2 phones unless it's your job phone.
Right.
And even if it's your job phone, like once you, like on the weekends, like if you're a Monday through Friday worker, then on the weekends you need to turn that phone off.
Okay.
And then even at night, turn the phone off. You're off. You know, well, it depends on the job.
Just depends on the job.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes I be at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock putting out fires. So it depends.
You have 2 phones?
I have 2 phones.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
And I keep hearing people ask me, why do you have 2 phones? Why do you have 2 phones? And I just want to hear from somebody else, is that a bad thing that I have 2 phones?
No, because I'm assuming yours is for job related issues.
Right, but I'm just wondering, if I didn't have job related issues, would that be a problem that I have 2 phones?
Yeah, because why do you need 2 phones if it's not job?
I might just like it. I might just like to have 2 phones.
You want 2 phone bills?
I mean, it that comes with the territory. But I'm just wondering, is that a bad thing? Like, does that mean something's going on?
I mean, it depends on how your significant other looks at it, honestly.
Okay. So if you met somebody, you just started meeting this person, they work for the trash company. They got 2 phones, because I know how you is. So
What they doing at the trash? No, I'm just playing.
So they got
make money though.
Right. So they got 2 phones. Automatically, they just a truck driver. Is that gonna be in when you're on your first date and you see they got 2 phones right
I'm
there?
gonna say, oh, you have 2. I'm gonna say, oh, you have 2 phones, and then hoping he'll say, yeah, this is my personal, this is my job.
Okay. So you're gonna set it up for him.
I actually dated somebody that had 2 phones.
Okay.
But one was for work related purposes,
right.
And one was for, and I had both numbers.
Oh, okay. So there's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Now the thing is, if you don't have that second phone for job related situation, is that person going to give up the other phone number to their significant? Now that's the problem. If I say, can I have the number to the other phone, and you say no, and it's not a job phone.
Right. But what's the point in having the other number?
In case I can't get you at the other one.
Okay. Because it's not like having the number means I can get inside of it or something.
You have 2 phones. If I'm your woman, I should have both numbers.
Okay.
What's wrong with having both numbers? If you had a desk phone and a cell phone, I would have the desk phone. Now why I can't have the job related cell phone number, or just your other phone number for your phone.
Right. Okay.
So it just depends.
Yes. That's a lot of logistics.
Yes.
Okay. You got another question?
Do I think I had one. Is it toxic for someone to continue to let's see how I'm gonna put this. Is it toxic for for a woman to express to her significant other, or a man or whatever, to express to her significant other an issue that is occurring, and the other party of the relationship ignores it, or they make it to where it's not important? Is that, and it's continuously happening, is that toxic?
No, I don't think that's toxic. I just think that may be a communication issue.
So if I'm constantly being ignored.
How you want to break it down? Like I answer.
I think it's toxic.
Okay.
And I say that because...
Well, no, ask the question again first.
Okay, so let me give an example.
Okay.
So if I say that the way you express yourself to me is very it makes me feel small.
Okay.
And you tell me, well, that's just how I am. And then you walk away. And then it happens, it actually happens. And then I say, see, this is what I'm talking about. You're making me feel like I'm down because of how you're responding to me. And now you see it. It's happening right here in front of your eyes. And you're acting like it's nothing.
Right.
So is that toxic? Like, what is that? Why is that?
Why is it happening?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that goes back to toxic levels. On a certain it's levels.
Mm-hmm.
So it is on the toxic level, but I think it's more so, again, that person don't know how to communicate because they maybe never saw it in their parents or anybody, but I feel like there's a deeper issue. Mm-hmm. Or they feel like they maybe want to be in control.
Mm-hmm.
With that particular situation, because if you're saying something different, because this was making me feel belittled.
Mm-hmm.
So that means like they want to be in control of what they say goes.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that more so, but there's other issues.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be worked through, but again, you got to be wanting to work through it.
They ain't gonna work through it. If they want to be in control. Because, when you go...
Well, when you say I'm leaving you black bastard, and you take the kids, and you take the kids and there ain't nothing left. I bet you that'll make them change.
So controlling, I know we're going back and forth, but is controlling toxic?
But I mean, there's different parts of controlling. Are you controlling because if you don't, it's not going to get done? Or are you controlling to where this person wants to be 50-50 with you, but you're not letting them?
Okay, so controlling, what I'm thinking is, I need you home at 8:30.
Ooh.
And you're not home at 8:30, and they going out looking for you.
Mm-hmm. That's control.
So is that toxic?
Yeah, that's toxic.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, my last question. This is a good one. Okay. This wasn't a question. This is something we're going to wrap up.
Okay.
I had it. This is a good one. The final question for tonight. How do you deal with or let someone know that they are in a toxic relationship when they toxic?
Okay. So if I'm a toxic one, I'm telling somebody else they're in a toxic?
No, we just from the outside looking in. You're in a toxic relationship, but you toxic, so you ain't gonna never see that you are toxic because you keep blaming the other person that's being toxic. Like two toxic people together. How do you help someone with that?
You can't.
You sound like a little kid. You can't.
Well, you can't. I don't feel like you could. How can you help somebody? Now, the toxic person wants to help somebody else.
No, we just on the outside looking.
So you want to help somebody that's...
I don't. What I'm just saying. You know how we went through all of this today, but I was just saying, how do you help a toxic couple that both are toxic? Normally, sometimes, you may have only one person toxic.
Oh, both people are toxic.
Both people are toxic. How do you work that?
So, the best approach would probably to approach the one that you're the closest to. And just start there. Mm-hmm. Now, what you say, I don't know.
That may be a great question for the people to chime in, and we'll find out.
Yeah.
How do you deal with two toxic people in a relationship that you know need help? Mm-hmm. Is it possible? Do you let them just be them? Or do you call in the group? Call in the tribe? So let us know below. How do you feel about that question?
Well, that's it for the perspective. I hope y'all enjoyed. Please comment, like, share, all that good stuff. We want to say thank you to all of our followers, everybody that watches. We want to say thank you. And also let us know if you want us to talk about a specific subject. We're more than happy to entertain it, and hey, we
Yeah.
can talk about it.
Because one of my friends I just talked to earlier, when she's gonna eventually be coming on, but she said we need to talk about I forgot the word. What's the word? What's it when you got 3 people in a relationship? Like a man,
That's
2 women.
poly, isn't it? Polygamy?
That's it. That's it. So she wants to have a conversation about that topic.
Oh, I
Which
don't believe in polygamy.
you don't believe in it?
Mm-mm.
So you feel like it should be. We'll see y'all next week. We already know where we're heading next week, so you already got a sneak peek.
Yep,
Because Sandra's against it.
I'm against it.
So we'll see what Joseph have to say next week. Y'all have a great week and make sure to take some time and practice some self-care.